Good morning. I'm Peggy Deamer, and I want to welcome you all here to the second beginning of Rebuilding Architecture. Last night we had the first beginning, and I have to say I can't think of a better way to have begun the conference than Jane Riddell's talk last night, which I think was a perfect welcome to the issues that are relevant to these next 2 days. So Jane, thank you so much for really doing the proper welcome for the beginning of this conference. I want to just say how thrilled I am to be here in this room with colleagues and thinkers who I not only admire, but have learned from. I feel a little bit like a kid in a candy store here with kind of all these fabulous voices and opinions. So it's a very kind of selfish and personal pleasure for me to be in the midst of this group. And I hope the audience actually feels that way as well. I do think that probably most people in this room would agree with me that architecture as a profession is undervalued and underutilized, and that motivates the gathering that we have here. But I suspect that we maybe have differing opinions about both what the symptoms of that condition are and what the fundamental causes of that are. So I'm just going to put it out there what I think my attitude is about what the symptoms and what the essential causes are. For the symptoms, I think we should say we are underpaid for our expertise. Our working conditions and the circumstances under which we work would be illegal in almost any other discipline or field. And we generally are asked to work on projects that are socially trivial and environmentally suspect. The causes, again, this is from my perspective, very much have to do with the intertwining of the 4 different themes of the sessions that we're having today, and I want to emphasize how intertwined that they are. But I will just say most directly, we don't teach to the relevant issues for empowering architects, and our education costs excludes the people who could direct us to what those relevant issues are. We create narratives in history and theory that justify an ideology of marginality. We perpetuate practices that serve the 1%. And we represent ourselves to the public and to our clients in a manner that emphasizes our supposed exceptionalism. I want to insist on the fact that we can't blame external circumstances exclusively for this. Those external circumstances might be our neoliberal economy, our monetizing developers, our unsympathetic public, our myopic clients, our state-imposed zoning regulations or codes, or our our professional organizations. Certainly, these all limit our efficacy and our ability to be relevant in society. But I want to insist that we basically have no one more to blame than ourselves. We blame ourselves for operating in and perpetuating an ideology of elitism and aesthetic autonomy. So in some way, these next 2 days are going to be an opportunity to digest those things. I want to say again, I think that these are my personal opinions, and I look forward to more nuanced description of both the symptoms and the causes, and that's why we have gathered people together here who I think have devoted attention to various parts of those issues, and I think also their connectivity. I should thank a lot of people for this event. Primarily Dean Burke, who has been enormously supportive of this event, both with her time and with the school's resources. I cannot thank you enough, Deborah, for really making this feel like the candy store, opening the doors. So thank you very, very much. Equally, or and in some ways spiritually as important, is the work of Richard de Fleumery, who is the person responsible for getting everybody here and making sure that they're comfortable and they actually stay here. And he does this with not just finesse and competence, but with humor and fun. And the fact that he sees this difficult task as fun makes it fun for people like me. And so he just deserves enormous thanks. Dean John Jacobson is the one who deals with all of the contracts and the finances that are essential to getting people here. He has a thankless task. He's underappreciated, and I really want to let him know how much he matters and is thanked. AJ Artemel, who is our communications coordinator, has had the huge job of making sure that this conference is well known and documented out there in the larger world, and he has done that with enthusiasm, and I appreciate that. Dan and Trevor in the AV room, who work overtime and accommodate all of your special wishes and your last-minute requests. They're a huge part of making these 2 days perform correctly. And then I also want to thank Melinda Agron, who is a student here at the school, who early on was very helpful in contacting people and organizing the contact list and the travel conditions. So she too has been really, really important in this.